Welcome to the Ghosties podcast.
We are going to be recording an episode today on UFOs, so we are going to upload it to YouTube also, so people can see our faces. So we haven't actually started recording yet. We're getting our lives together.
Yes.
Which is kind of hard right now.
Y'all.
We're having a day.
As
always. When do we not have a day?
I know. It's been a day.
Yeah. We had all these storm warnings and stuff yesterday, so anxiety has been sky high. And then there's weird things in my house and Christina's house. If you guys watched our live the other night, you know that everything went to hell very quickly.
It basically did.
It did.
For anybody that didn't know why we signed off so quickly, and you could barely hear me talking anyway through a lot of the live stream.
Breaking up so bad.
Oh my gosh. When I was trying to listen to myself in the playback, I was like, oh my God, how did y'all figure out what I was saying?
That's why I was the whole time, if you look at my face, I'm like.
But at a certain point towards the end of the broadcast, when that helicopter noise started, my room in my house started filling up with people in spirit.
And I couldn't hear the helicopter noise at all.
It was so crazy that she couldn't hear it.
Everybody else could.
All of us were like, man, I can feel that in my chest, in my stomach.
Y'all were all anxious. I'm like, why is everybody peacing out?
Girl, it was you've heard it on the replay, but it was like a helicopter. It was so jarring. It was penetrating my soul.
And then when I listened to it back, I was like, oh. And then a little fun fact that we remembered is that when Christina did a reading for me, it's been about a year since we met. I think it was, I don't know if it was March, April, May, sometime around that time frame.
It was around there.
Yeah. So she offered to do a video reading for me out of the kindness of her own heart.
I remember that.
So that was the first time we'd ever seen each other, or whatever. We weren't even friends then.
Mm-hmm.
And so she did a video reading for me, and I was in the same room that happened in, and actually sitting in the chair right by where I was sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And, or was I think I moved around some for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I remember being on the love seat also, and you being like, do you hear the helicopter? Because you weren't hearing it. You're like, it sounds like a helicopter is landing, and I'm like, I don't hear it at all. So I was listening. I'm like, I don't hear anything. I
was listening.
And the thing is, we didn't record this. It was just a conversation, a video chat. So I couldn't go back and potentially hear it. So I never knew what she was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So when this happened the other night, I was like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
This happened before when you were reading me,
mm-hmm.
when I was in that room.
It was exactly the exact same noise. And I remember, it truly sounded like a helicopter was landing in the room.
Yeah, when I watched the replay, I was like, oh.
It was intense.
Mm-hmm.
Just a really grinding, pulsating noise. Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was ridiculous. But yeah, stuff got real all of a sudden. You can look at all of our faces. With the exception of Missy, since she couldn't.
Because I was just talking, and Christina's like, no.
I was
she's like, we need to wrap it up. I was like, okay, we need to wrap it up. If Christina says we need to wrap it up, we're gone. I'm going to take that as a sign from Spirit that we're done here.
I was like,
good night.
I don't think that they can hear me.
And to all, a good night.
It's I was saying, I think we need to wrap this up, and I could tell just from the looks on everyone's faces that either I was on a delay or they couldn't hear what I was saying.
I think it was both.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, I was like, we gotta finish this.
Well, when we started the broadcast, my whole Wi-Fi in my house shut down.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because I was like, wait a minute. But on my phone, I had the live going. So I could tell y'all were like, oh, we lost her. And I'm like, F.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look in here, and my husband's in his chair playing his game. I was like, I think we lost Wi-Fi. He was like, we did. There's a baby stirring.
I know.
Sorry. Hopefully. He's good with loud noises though, so maybe we should start. We should get into this before it gets too much. We're going to start recording. We're going to talk about UFOs today. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of going to let Christina lead this one because she has a bunch of notes and stuff, and we're going to do a spirit box session.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do my usual ridiculous commentary on the side.
Where do you want the microphone? Do you want it here?
Oh, and yeah, I should probably, do you want me to put it on a pillow?
Oh, yes.
And I should probably not move a lot. and do this. Well.
All right, ready? Nope.
This is what happens when we try to
Nope,
record.
I'm not ready.
I'm not ready. We're not, clearly.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Ghosties.
Welcome to the Ghosties podcast.
We've got a cool thing going on today.
Yeah, man. We're going to talk UFOs.
We're recording for YouTube as well at the same time. So.
Yeah. And Christina's going to speak up because we forgot the microphone.
Yes.
And
yes.
I always overshadow her with my loud voice. Missy's just taking over the podcast here. Sorry, I don't mean to. I think it's some automatic, like, I don't know. It's kind of like when people are talking to somebody that's deaf. Or something, you know, they yell. And it's like, well, they can't hear you anyway. You know, like, it's what...
I know.
It's like I know we're recording and I'm like, let me yell so everybody can hear me. You have to have your volume all the way low for me and all the way high for Christina.
I know.
Sorry.
I know. I'm terrible. I need to definitely speak up more.
Well, one day we're going to use our real equipment.
Yes.
One day. But maybe when we're not, I mean, that kind of is a pain if we go back and forth to each other's houses, though.
Yeah.
But
one day.
When Sam the other night was saying how Cindy could do sound, I'm like, oh, yeah, Cindy is in a band.
That's right.
Cindy, I used to be in a band with her.
Yes.
For a very short period of time.
Yes.
That was that Cindy.
I need to hear some of these stories that y'all were talking about in the live stream.
Oh, right. About running towards the gunshots.
Yeah, and Mike's coat and...
Oh, right. Oh, my gosh. So, we'll talk about it real quick because we have a minute. We have all the time. If my baby wakes up crying and we have to pause, I apologize ahead of time. He's sleeping right now, though, so I don't know. So, Cindy was over at my house, and Cindy is slightly shorter than I am, I believe. I hope she doesn't hear this and take offense, but I think she's shorter than me a little bit, which is hard to do. Because I'm only like 5 3/4 of an inch, so she's like probably just slightly maybe. We might even be the same height. I don't remember. I haven't seen her in so long. That's the problem. It's been years. So she was at my house, and she looks over on the wall, and there's one of Mike's coats, which I'll pull it out for you. I could actually pull it out for YouTube.
Is it like a lumberjack?
Yeah. Oh, you probably saw the picture in our chat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's red plaid and long. And she was like, what is that? It's like a coat from the Little Rascals. And she was like, we should stand on each other's shoulders and go to the movie theaters and be like, 2, please. I mean, 1, please. So that's where that came from. Because it's the longest jacket. I don't know if she put it on that night or if I did or both of us did. I don't know. It's heavy and long. Because he likes all of his jackets long and stuff. So, yeah.
Is it plaid?
Yeah. Yeah. It's plaid.
He loves his plaid.
Let's show it to YouTube. You talk. I'm going to get it. It's right in this closet right here.
Okay.
We have to.
I know.
We just have to.
Missy's going to get Mike's infamous lumberjack trench coat.
I'll post it. We'll post on social.
We're going to post it on social media. I can hear her grabbing it now. You stop it right now. Okay, he is forever Paul Bunyan to me from the rest of his life.
But yeah, if I were to wear this, like, I know the couch is in the way, but it legit comes down to, like, my shins. Now, again, I'm only 5 3/4 of an inch tall, but...
Oh my gosh.
Look how big this thing is.
Guys, it is a tweed, red and black plaid
He's had it for
trench
so long.
coat.
Yeah. It's a really nice coat. Like, he takes care of his clothing, so...
Well, that is...
He loves that. It's been, I mean, and come on, we've been together for 13 years, and he's at least had it, like, probably the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
At least 12, or he may have gotten it for a Christmas near when we got together, but either way.
Now, I'm going to date myself here, but do you remember Bmoss?
What was that? A store?
It was a store, like, in the mall. It was like a clothing store.
I remember the name, but I don't know that I ever...
I gotta show you the coat that I still have from Bmoss.
Oh boy.
Girl, it's like...
What kind of a store was Bmoss?
It was a clothing store. It was a women's clothing store.
Women's?
There was a lot of junior stuff.
Was it like Deb or 579?
Dated ourselves there.
Yeah.
Was it like Delia's?
Did you ever feel attacked in 579 because of their limited clothing sizes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Always.
The same way in PacSun. PacSun
Oh my
always made me
gosh.
feel that way with all like the Roxy and Quicksilver stuff.
I don't feel like I'm worthy of wearing any of that.
Well, you more so than me. because, oh my gosh, they never had my size.
No.
It was always too small.
I'm shapely, so that's very. I'm short, and I've got some shape. So it's.
She's the smallest person
There was
I
a
know.
Dane Cook special he did. He was like, she's, what did he say? Shapes. She's shapes or something. I don't know.
Oh.
Shapely.
Well,
Anyways.
this coat, I gotta send you a picture of it later today. It's all fur. It's not real fur. It's like faux fur. On the inside, and it's leather on the outside with these poofy like end of the sleeves.
Oh, okay.
And it comes down past my waist.
All
it's
right.
the warmest jacket, but man, does it scream 1999.
That's all right.
I could save The Last Dance with someone in it.
Can't hardly wait. Have you never been kissed? We could keep going. We're here all night, or at least for the next 30 minutes.
Tip your waitress.
Yeah. Anyways.
So today we're talking about UFOs
Yes.
and aliens, and I am so excited about this episode.
See, Christina wants to have like a full-on alien experience.
I do.
But yet again, I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. Listen, just because you set intentions for things to happen doesn't mean I need them to happen
That's
to
true.
me. So this is one-sided. So we're going to just, all the intentions are going to come right here. And I'm just going to
bring it.
talk
Bring it.
about it.
I'm down with it.
Yeah, I'm not
They know
experiencing
it.
anything. I don't want to experience, I have nothing. I'm tired. Okay?
Listen,
I don't need it.
swoop down and abduct me.
Not here though. Maybe later, like when she goes home. We don't need any of that around here.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember Independence Day from the 90s?
I know.
You do.
I know of the movie.
Do you remember the girl that?
No, because I never watched it.
Oh, you didn't?
No. There's been other movies we talked about that I've been like.
That's right. Oh, we have to watch that immediately.
Do we?
I mean, not immediately,
I
but
mean, I just never was really that interested.
well, let me tell you something.
I was watching the ghost movies, not the alien movies.
My 5th grade self, when Independence Day came out.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, I was in the 5th grade for sure. Totes. It's burned into my memory because I loved it. I loved that movie when I was a kid.
Kind of way.
Seriously. But no, so there's a girl in the movie. Anybody who's watched it probably remembers. She was like really quirky, but she was the one that was like, yeah, let's go meet the aliens. She had like a sign that was like, beam me up, you know. And they killed her first.
Of course they did. As they should. I mean, I'm not saying that I want that to happen to you. But,
I know.
but you also think an alien experience is going to be like pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know about probing and all that. But when I've listened, the podcasts I listen to, they talk about that stuff. And that's why I'm like, oh.
I know.
But you know what I hear? They want people that have like pure bodies. Listen, I've got tattoos and plenty of them. I've had piercings and I've done my fair share of wine drinking. So y'all don't want nothing to do with me, okay? I'm a failed experiment over here, so just don't. Anyways.
So one of the things that I thought was really cool around this topic, because there's so much fear around this topic. I've talked to my own guides about aliens, and I think I've always held a belief in aliens even since I was younger. I think that just growing up in the church, and I can remember as a child thinking that it was crazier to not believe in them and that we were the only ones in the universe than to believe in them. I can definitely remember as a kid thinking it's too big, you know, out in space for us to be the only ones here.
Right.
So, you know, aliens and UFOs and all that stuff has definitely always intrigued me. And then once I started really working on my mediumship and once I started to channel, I actually met a different guide that I found out later was from, I don't think I'm pronouncing this right, but they told me that they were from Boots. Remember this?
No, maybe, but that just reminded me of how I told Jackson boots and picks and boots and picks.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's all I have to add to the show, and I'm out. Anyways.
So when I first started learning, you know, how to channel and do mediumship readings, I started meeting my different spirit guides. And one of the spirit guides that stepped forward after I started consistently doing readings When I asked them where they were from, they said they were from Boots. And from what I understand, sorry, we're trying to keep track of our recording here. Come on.
Oh, Lord. We may have to stop and change your settings.
I know. Let's
Bear
stop.
with us. Please hold. Oh, man. You're gonna have to, like, press the...
Christ on the cross.
Sorry about us. Please hold.
Hold. Okay.
See,
All right, so
we don't have fancy, crazy equipment, so it's just, it is what it is, guys.
Your audio.
One day when we have millions of listeners, then maybe we can have equipment and things. We do have equipment, we just don't know how to use it yet.
I know.
We haven't. We've looked up some stuff, but I just don't think all of our devices are compatible. It also doesn't help that we both have Chromebooks.
Yes.
Which I didn't realize when I bought mine that it's not really like a real laptop. It's just like a large mobile device. Because my nickname for myself is Grandma Missy, and that's why. Because I don't know technology. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna get back on here.
Okay. Here we go. Ready?
Hi again.
And
it's
take
us.
2.
Yeah. All right.
So anyway, so I met a guide, one of my guides, that said that they were from Boots, and I didn't know what that meant. So, did you see? Did the lights just flash for you?
It's because the AC came on.
Oh,
yeah.
So anyway, so I started communicating with this particular guide at that time, and the more they told me, each time I asked them where they were from, they kept pointing to the sky and to the stars. So it didn't freak me out. I was like, okay, whatever. You know, some of my guides are from different places, so it didn't really wig me out. But then during channeling sessions, I was drawing, I'll have to post a picture of it later. I was drawing this thing that I didn't know what it was. It was all these different lines and dots, and I felt like I was playing Connect the Dots.
Like a constellation?
It was a constellation.
Oh.
I ended up
drawing. I know some things.
I ended up drawing the Boots constellation during like automatic writing sessions. So when I was, asking them like, what the heck am I drawing? They were like, that's where we're from. And I was like, what this, connect the dots? And they were like, no, the constellation. Oh. So apparently that's where one of my guides is from. I have channeled guides. I've channeled who have said that they were alien beings. I have never had a negative experience. However, they do say that there are negative and positive alien races that visit the earth.
Right.
They've always given me the analogy that just like there are bad people in the world, there are bad aliens in the same respect.
Yeah.
So yeah. So.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. One of the other cool things that I found out about aliens and UFOs, because this is a huge topic, you know.
I mean, very broad.
Yes.
We're going to break this into multiple segments, and I'm sure the 2 today won't be all of it.
I know. But, I mean, it's so broad. There's so much information about it. But one of the cool things that I found out, now, spoiler or, trying to think of the word. I was going to say spoiler alert, but that's not the right word. Anyway, full disclosure. I'm not saying this for a political reason. I, obviously don't want to share my political beliefs.
Yeah, we don't do any of that.
Yeah, this is not political on here.
You will never know how we feel about anything.
Listen, this is a show for enjoyment and entertainment, and, definitely don't want to bring that into this space. But
not at all.
One of the things that I found out about the COVID bill that had just been signed in, was it Congress? Back in December when Trump was still president, they were still signing, different bills. But he signed a $2.3 trillion coronavirus relief bill back in December. And apparently within the clauses of that bill, stated that they have 180 days from the time that Trump signed the bill for Congress and the secret not Secret Service, but like the CIA and everyone basically within government, they have 180 days to write down what they know about UFOs and aliens.
Yes.
They want everything in a report and for someone to go in front of Congress to disclose.
Can we pause to, let me tell you something embarrassing for 1 minute?
Yeah.
I'm decent at math. Okay. So 180 days, I was like, oh, that's only like 3 months. So February, March, and I was like, oh, it's still not time yet. And then I was like, oh, it's 6 months. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a while. So that being said, when all of this stuff is finally released, we're probably gonna be talking about it again.
The tea. I'm here for the tea. I want to hear the tea. I personally, I don't think that they'll tell us even a fraction of what they know.
No, I mean, are they going to open up Area 51?
Do you remember a couple of years ago when a whole bunch of people stormed Area 51?
They wanted to in September of that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said, well, I saw some kind of meme about it, and it was like, maybe if we had actually, now that, was it something about being on lockdown?
I saw ones about the Capitol and everything. They were like, if we could storm the Capitol, we could storm it.
Oh, something, yeah. I don't know. There was some different.
It was crazy.
If you could storm the Capitol building and nothing happened. Again, we're not talking political beliefs, but then you could storm Area 51.
I just remember a couple of years ago, because my husband follows, all things Twitter. He doesn't do Instagram, he doesn't do Facebook, but he's on Twitter all the time. And he told me, I remember a couple of years ago, he was like, people are storming Area 51. And I was like, what? And he was like, it's trending, look. And people were legit, like, trying to storm Area 51.
I know they talked about it.
Yeah, it was crazy. So anyway.
Somebody must have died if they tried. Anyways.
So what I found interesting about that was that it definitely says, there's a stipulation that was tucked into the committee comment section of the oh my god.
Hello?
Y'all get the point. It was tucked into the fine print of the bill, basically.
It's like my puberty moment last week when I was like,
you were like, ah.
But yeah, it was like, I remember my voice was all like weird last week. I felt like there was something stuck in it, and I was like, and then I was like, oh.
You're like, oh my god, I'm a pubescent boy.
What happened?
My voice is changing.
What happened? Anyways.
So around, June?
Yeah.
Let's start seeing what comes about from this. I mean, it says that they want a written document.
Yeah.
Stating the full disclosure of what they know.
This would be the time for any of you that have a fun UFO story to share it.
Mm-hmm.
Share it with us, and we will share it on an episode. Because we are always down for some UFO stories. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could put it into a whole episode if there's that enough. Mm-hmm. You have a UFO story that we're going to share at some point.
I do.
If it's not during this episode, it'll be the next one, but...
I do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to share it now? Or do you want me to share it?
You can share it now. Whatever.
Okay. So I've only seen one thing, with my physical eyes, that really got my attention. It was about, 2 or 3 years ago. We were living, and I have to remember that this is over here.
I know. Sorry about us.
We were living in Virginia Beach, right off of Bird Neck, and for anybody who's familiar with this area, especially in Virginia, it's a huge military town. Lots of shipyards, different things. And we lived right in the flight path of Oceana. So that should be said. But I woke up in the middle of the night. It was about 3 a.m. one night. And Ruby wanted to go outside and go potty. So I got dressed. I took her outside and I was standing on our patio, kind of holding her leash. And from my left, I thought at first it was a plane or a jet or something. But what stood out to me was there was no noise coming from the plane or whatever it was, and it was very close. It was flying so low that I could see up into the different details of. I mean, it was very low, enough for Ruby to start barking.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So as it got closer, I realized that it wasn't a plane, that it was a disc, but it wasn't like the typical UFO disc that you see in the movies, flying belly down and the saucer's just spinning. It was flying belly out. on its side. It was very strange. I've still never seen anything like it to date. But this thing looked like a little disc flying on its side, and as it got, yeah, I mean, it glided. There was no noise coming from it, and there was red, green, blue, and white lights strobing around the center of it, almost like in this ombre pattern almost. But it looked like actual lights flashing. The bottom of it looked, for anybody who's seen Mr. Holland's Opus, this is the best way I can describe it.
Now listen, that's an old movie, right? And I saw it when it came out in movie theaters.
Do you remember the light show that he did for his son?
Vaguely, because it's been 30 years.
Yes.
I mean, not quite, but you know.
Anybody who remembers, he does like a little light show in there for his son who's hearing impaired. And the bottom of this ship looked like all these white LED lights that were flashing. I mean, it was so close that I could see the light bulbs. So, but it flew over. There was no noise. What?
The light's just flashing over there.
Oh.
They might be able to see it in the video. I don't know. Sorry.
Flew over. There was no noise. I saw it disappear over the tree line. I didn't actually have my phone with me. I had left my phone inside, which pissed me off. I thought, okay, I could either run and go get it, but then I was going to leave Ruby.
To be abducted. Rude.
So anyway, I watched it, float away. And then I told Kyle the next morning what I saw. And he was like, oh, it was probably like one of their top secret, test things that they were testing in the middle of the night maybe. And I was like, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Whatever.
That's what they do at Area 51.
So then a couple months later, this documentary came out on Netflix that I saw. It was called Bob Lazar and Area 51. And it was about this guy that was a physicist who had been tasked to reverse engineer alien spacecraft within Area 51 during the 1980s. And as he's drawing, the ships and the crafts, for the documentary crew that he deconstructed and reconstructed, he starts saying they don't fly like the movies say that they fly. They fly belly out. And when I tell you that I almost passed out when I heard it, because, they don't talk about that stuff, So I ran back to my journal. I had sketched it in my journal, and I was like, I'm telling you, I told Kyle, because we were both watching it, I was like, I'm telling you, I saw a UFO. I've never seen something like that, and I've definitely never seen anything flying on its side. So
that is crazy.
That's my story.
That's a good one.
It was interesting. I just wish I had my damn phone.
You won't. That's the thing, is when weird things like that happen, it's very rare that you're going to be able to catch it, especially because sometimes it's like whatever it is so intelligent that it knows that you see it sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Did it appear because it knew that you're sensitive? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
We have questions. And we're going to ask some questions in the spirit box session too.
I know. All little guys here, okay?
We're just going to
keep going
in there and keep going until we can't go.
So, one of the things that I did before we started this episode, I wanted to ask my guides, who I call the guys, I'm sure you guys know that, but I asked the guys what prompted us to start having all of these sightings of UFOs and aliens. What prompted all of this? And I was surprised by the answer. They said it was the testing and the use of nuclear weapons that got their attention and brought them here. And I say brought them here, I feel like they've probably always been here. But they said that because we still have no idea how to use atomic power, this really concerned them, according to what my guide said. It gave me the feeling like we're like the kids here, running with scissors, and mom and dad came to see what the kids were doing
What's going on
down on Earth. Yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, cool. So if that's the case, then let me see when the first nuclear detonation happened. And the Trinity test of the nuclear bomb happened on July 16th of 1945. The first reported incident or sighting was in 1947.
Well, kind of, because I found something.
Did you?
Yes, but only one thing. We'll talk about it in our next episode. That actually dates. They're saying it could even date to the 1800s.
Stop.
So, but
okay,
this could have stirred them up more. So it's not like they were never, like you're saying, they were here.
Yeah, I think they've always been here.
But that was like,
wait a second.
Yeah. Now we're gonna,
They say too that like in some of the Renaissance paintings that we have, that there are UFOs that have been drawn in the Renaissance paintings. That's a theory.
Or even like what is it? Please, I'm terrible at history, so I'm not gonna name any places. In like pyramids and caves and things where they have like drawings from like freaking hieroglyphics and stuff. Like Egypt, back in the day, that there are some like alien drawings or like little gray men as they were called at one time. There's a lot.
I know.
And even what is it? Please help me. Like a lost city of something.
Oh, like Atlantis?
Maybe. They're saying could have some kind of alien related thing. I don't know.
From what I've heard, and I don't know any of this to be true, but from the little bit that I've read and learned, Atlantis was way more advanced than we are. They had way more technology than we did. And as I say that, like, I'm hearing the doctor that I used to work for say, oh, these ancient people were like so dumb. I don't think they were at all.
Right.
I don't think they were. I think that they had some of this technology that maybe even aliens have, but I think they operated at a way higher vibration than we do.
Yeah. Well, think of all of like the negative stuff in the world these days that just keeps getting worse. So of course they were at a higher vibration because there was more,
Have you, in the Convoluted Universe books that Dolores Cannon wrote, she talks about that, how a lot of her clients went back to the time of Atlantis.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
And it's very interesting that you bring up the books because I still can't find The Vengeful Jinn, but your other two books that are sitting on my dresser you're taking home today because I'm afraid they're going to disappear. That was a whole nother episode that we did on something, and
the books grew legs.
One of the books disappeared. Like I was reading it one night and then the next night it was a different book on my nightstand. Yeah, that's...
Did you feel that?
No, I didn't feel anything, but he's making noises.
I felt like somebody came over and like hopped onto the...
Well, let's just not right now.
So,
do you want to save... I know we have some stories on there, but maybe we should jump into the spirit box session and save the stories for the next episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Now here's my next question.
Sure.
Since we're recording on that one and we're recording on this one, where's the sound coming from?
Oh, for the spirit box session? Shizzle. Crap.
So we can cut YouTube loose and say, hey, if you want to know about the spirit box session,
you gotta go.
Or we can start a new video over on my laptop.
Ooh, we could do that. Okay.
I don't know. Can we put two videos together without editing equipment, or we have to separate that in two? Grandma Missy is asking questions.
You can splice them together, like with the app.
Well, with the YouTube app?
Oh, no, not with the YouTube app. Just with like a regular video editing. But yeah, there's...
Thought I heard my dog outside, but he's definitely in his kennel out of that door. And if we heard him barking, we would know. That's a baby, in case you guys hear grunting. It's a poor little boy that has... Okay.
Aww.
Yeah. So we're going to pause and get ready for Spirit Box, everyone.
Thank
you.
Bye.